Gilbert and Sullivan is some of the most delightful music you'll ever hear, but it was written a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we know that some young people have a hard time embracing things from the past. But what's wonderful about live entertainment, what's wonderful about Broadway, is that we find ways to tell old stories new again.
Warren Carlyle, you're a name attached to any show I get very excited for, but I mean, now doing Pirates, the Penzance Musicals, I mean, when did this project come in front of you?
So Pirates has been around for about 5 years. This was a pre-pandemic musical. Scott Ellis came and said, I went to a dinner at the Gilbert and Sullivan Society. Do you know anything about pirates? I mean, in my previous life I was English, so I have some recollection, some knowledge of Gilbert and Sullivan and its classic form. Pirates has been around for almost 150 years, truthfully.
Crazy,
I mean, almost 150. So it's been around. I knew of it in America. Of course, I know the famous Kevin Kline, the Delacorte production.
In order to get an American copyright so that they would actually be paid for it, Gilbert and Sullivan premiered it first in the States, in New York, and then actually did a touring production around the United States. So there was precedent for the idea that, okay, they were here and the show was here. And I think what their idea was, well, New Orleans actually has pirates in it, or it had, I don't know about now. But at that time, and what if they brought the show to New Orleans like they were bringing around the country, and they got so taken, as we all do when we go to New Orleans, by everything about the city, the food and the culture and the music and the diversity of people and of jazz and of everything else. And they thought, how would this show hold up importing all of that? And turns out it holds up really well.
This is a new piece, essentially, because, what Rupert Holmes and Warren and Scott and Joseph Joubert are bringing, it's like, okay, how can I serve the Pirate King in this version?
Poor Wandering One, which is Mabel's big song, does not sound like the original Poor Wandering One.
Yeah.
It sounds like a jazz standard, which is really cool, and it's been awesome to explore that while still holding true to the text and keeping some of that original Gilbert and Sullivan flair as well.
The first version I saw was the Stratford Festival with Kevin Kline, and I wore that VHS out. I watched it so much. I fell in love. I really did. That was why I think that in Les Mis is why I fell in love with theater.
Tell me, all right, who are you playing in this production, and who is he? Tell me a little bit about him.
So I'm playing Major General Richard Stanley Retired. That's his full title. And he's a British Major General. And his thing is that he has incredible knowledge about almost everything. The only thing he really doesn't know anything about is anything related to military things. The other thing he's really good at is he has 7 daughters.
So I'm playing Mabel. She's one of the Stanley daughters, and she's Frederick's lover. In this iteration, she is not a damsel in distress.
Love to hear it.
Very different from the first iteration. She's powerful, she's strong, all the daughters are, and she's very in tune with her sexuality. She knows what she wants.
I am playing Frederick, who is the pirate apprentice.
Okay.
So he is apprenticed to this group of pirates for a number of years. When his apprenticeship is over, his sense of duty says that he must leave them, this is not a spoiler, and come back and destroy them all.
I'm playing Ruth. She's a nanny and a pirate. She's a nanny and a pirate. She's a very sweet woman. She's a very earthy woman.
Okay.
And she's an idiot.
I'm Ramin. I'm playing the Pirate King in Pirates, the Penzance Musical.
Yes.
He's a cutthroat pirate, very dangerous, master of swashbuckling flair, but he's got a big heart. He's got a very big, tender heart. There's rules to this engagement of war. If someone is weaker than me, or who has been an orphan, or who is an orphan, I won't attack them because I've been an orphan myself, and how fair would it be to attack a weaker party?
Sure.
Unfortunately, word's getting around, so everyone who I go to attack says they're an orphan. And because I have a big tender heart and I'm full of grace, it breaks my heart, so I can't attack them.
Of course.
It's so funny, it's so sharp, and also at the end of the day, there's a core message, which I think is part of the reason why it's lasted so long, of the absurdity of war and two sides fighting and coming to terms with the fact that we're all the same, so there's a lot of heart to it.
A lot of different people coming together and finding out what they have in common in spite of their differences, you know? And that message just doesn't stop being relevant because people want to keep fighting the idea of embracing one another. And, you know, I think it's a special privilege as a queer person that my community is already a patchwork of everything and everyone.
You know, I feel like stuff like Gilbert and Sullivan can feel very unattainable, or like it's not for them, specifically for like young kids of color. So I'm really excited to show them that we do fit in.